Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to the channel. Today is the start of a new series that I'm going to be doing every month on the channel for the first week, the first Friday of the month, and the last Friday of the month. And this is a series where you ask questions and I answer them. And I got a few questions, and I'm happy to answer them. I won't be going too much into personal life details when it comes into questions. So if you want to know, if you ask a question like, for example, saying like, "Hey, where exactly do you live?" I'm not answering that. If you're gonna be asking me how much I spend on gotcha games on stuff, I'm not answering that. If you ask me questions about political things, even current events that's going on, I am not answering that because this is a game. This is a gaming channel, so I want to focus on games. Nothing too political or nothing that's going on around the world that may seem like it's either good or bad. But let's get into the questions. Okay, so the first question comes from Matt Johnson, 7428. And his question is, and there's a lot of repeating questions from a lot of people from the same people. So you can ask both of those questions and I'll still answer them. Matt Johnson's question is, does Delta have a love interest? That's a good question. As of right now, Delta does not have a love interest. She does not have a love interest. You could probably say there are more characters in my universe who love Delta and would like to be in a relationship with them, but realize they can't. And if you know, you know, but I'm just gonna tell you anyway. It's kind of Zuzu. Zuzu actually loves Delta, and when it comes to Delta, she doesn't realize what personal space is now that she has a Saiyan form. But to go back to the question, Delta currently does not have a love interest. That can change probably in the future, in a different story, a different chapter of her life, but no, she does not have a love interest. And before anyone says, but what about me, since me is the daughter of Delta and Jakko? She does not love Jakko. That was actually a forced love onto Delta in that dark alternative future. So no, that doesn't count. Now, the second question comes from Grad James-V9G, and he says, random question, but who are your top 10 favorite YouTubers? Okay. My top 10 favorite YouTubers. Ooh, that's very hard because there's a lot of YouTubers that I like and a lot that have motivated me to make my own channel. But if I had to say a top 10, and this is in no particular order, because I don't want people who are got to the chance like, oh, you could have put this guy or her over this one or that person. No, this is no particular order. So first we got IGP. I love IGP because I love horror games and I love watching his channel because of the simple fact of the matter is that he shows a lot of horror games, a lot of good indie horror games that I can buy on Steam and play, and I appreciate his channel. I miss Icy in his videos. I really do miss Icy. I think the last video he made with Icy was called Paranoia. It was like they were patients in a psychiatric ward, I believe, and they was running away from like this demon doctor who would put them to sleep if they was caught. And that was my favorite video. Icy's Donald Duck impersonation was actually killing me in that video. But yeah, I like IGP for his horror content. Even though and especially for his backwards content. Next, we got Corey Kenshin. Corey Kenshin, I found out about Corey Kenshin right when he was about to hit 200,000 subscribers. And one of the videos I found Corey Kenshin on was his Among the Sleep gameplay, and I clicked. I clicked with content. I loved it. It was very good. His geometry dash videos was also good, and his random dance that he did in the middle of the street at 200,000 subscribers was actually pretty hilarious. There was a brief moment that I stopped watching Corey for a little bit because I was focusing on school and other things, and when I came back, I want to say like 3 months later, he was already at 600,000 subscribers. Like, man, he got 600,000 subscribers that fast? Go Corey. But Corey Kenshin is one of my favorite YouTubers. His community is very passionate about him, but they can also be very toxic. That's every community. Every community can be very toxic. And especially when Corey takes his long extended breaks, his community gets antsy when there's no Corey Kenshin being shown on their phones or TVs, wherever they watch Corey at. And like I said, people always say he got the most toxic community. Every community can be toxic. You always got those good apples and those bad apples. Now moving on. Number 3, we got C-Reacts. C-Reacts is a channel that also motivated me to make this channel because of the Dream Idiots. And simply how he is and how he carries himself, and I love his content. His content is hilarious. I appreciate the videos that he does with Rhyme and Daladoya. They are very hilarious, especially his Month of Mayhem. I remember when he first started Month of Mayhem, and it's been very successful. I love the videos when, like, I think it's called In Silence, that game. I love when Daro and Rhyme act like complete idiots, because they are literally idiots, and they always get the monster attention, especially where that was like, damn, that's my favorite bit. But C-Reacts, I love his channel. I love his Dragon Ball content. He's also the reason why I also got into Xenoverse, because at first I wasn't too enticed by Xenoverse 1, and then I played it right after Xenoverse 2 was announced, and I finally got through it. And Xenoverse 2 was kind of the same thing, because I didn't like the stamina system. And Xenoverse 2, I still don't like it that much, but I appreciate him getting me into the Xenoverse. Moving on to number 4, I had number 4 is tricky, because I want to put, actually just like this no particular order, but it's Markiplier. Markiplier has been also one of the channels I got into horror with, especially during his Oculus Rift games. And there was one game, I believe, an Oculus game that he was playing, that the monster scared him so bad he had to pause and cry a bit, and that was the first time I've ever seen him cry in a video. I'm pretty sure he cried other times in videos, but I haven't seen them. There was a long break where I stopped watching Markiplier because of the next person we're about to announce in number 5. They've been popping up from my channel, and I also got recommended to him by other friends who I knew who also watch Markiplier. But Markiplier is another channel that also helped me get into like the horror game scene, because horror games are pretty much my favorite types of games to play. But moving on to number 5, Jacksepticeye. Now, Jacksepticeye he's Jack. Nothing more to say. He's actually very, very nice. I've seen him once. I've seen him once in real life. I haven't got the chance to actually meet him in real life. Well, I mean, I actually seen him. I forgot where. I, I think it was. I don't remember if it was an E3 where E3 was still a thing, or it was a Game Awards. I can't remember. I think it was E3. I can't remember, but I actually just saw him just walking with a group of people, and I wanted to say hi as a fan, but it's like, gotta realize he probably was tired. I think it was E3, cause he looked tired at the time, but I'm getting derailed from this. But Jacksepticeye is another channel that I like playing. I enjoyed his Five Nights at Freddy's videos as much as I did Markiplier's. But now we get to number 6, and 6 will go to what's his name? I forgot his name already. I just said his name earlier. Dao Doya. I love Dado. Dado is one of my favorite Dragon Ball channels, and I love I love his overly hyped intros where he's talking about the Dragon Ball game, and when he's talking about his favorite character. I love when he gets excited. His energy is very positive. I saw he recently made a marathon video, but I haven't had a chance to watch it because I've been extremely busy. I've been busy with a lot of things going on right now in my life. But Dao Doya, the same as Ryan Style and CZX, they bring a smile to my face, especially when they make a random 280s video or even a 380s video. Number 7 goes to Rhyme Style, and yes, the 380s is on this list because they are, like I said, they have all the idiots have helped me want to make a channel, especially covering Dragon Ball content. I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball wasn't the first anime I watched, but it's what also got me into the Dragon Ball gaming space. And when Ryan Style made, I believe he made a video called like the top 7 best Dragon Ball intros at the time. That's what also got me to most games, because like I didn't have like the closest GameStop to me at the time where I was living at was like a good 2-hour drive where I used to live at, and that was the closest one, because the ones that was really close to me, they got closed down and they got turned to like a T-Mobile or even like they got turned to telephone provider services. But yeah, 7 is Rhyme Style, and I'm just gonna say, oh, what's this? I'm getting distracted. Someone's trying to message me right now at the worst possible time. And when it comes to 8 is a manga channel, a rom-com manga channel, and the channel name is, I forgot the name. Oh yeah, it's called Canon Rom-Com Manga. I recently, ever since COVID was a thing, well, I don't know if I can say it, I like to say it, but ever since the coronavirus was a thing, it's still here, but ever since the pandemic started, it's like, if you had to be indoors, there was channels I was watching, like Etra Chansori, Sekai no Fushigi, Attack on Mika, and other rom-com channels. And one of the channels that stuck up to me was Canon Rom-Com Manga. I like those mangas, but I recently distanced myself from those manga channels because I kept getting tired of the simping main characters for the female MC, especially when the female MC like cheated or betrayed the MC, or especially when they broke up with them over a misunderstanding and then try to listen to like the male characters, the main characters reason to why there's misunderstanding and stuff. I kind of got tired with that, but I still watch it from time to time. 9 goes to another channel I obviously started watching, and they are called Tokyo. They're called Tokyo ASMR Massage. Now, short name Tam. I recently got into the channel because I also, because with my grandma and everything, having a hard being sick and everything, I've been having a hard time going to sleep. And their massage videos, especially the air ASMR videos, have been helping me get some sleep. And I actually am grateful to the channel because ever since she got sick back in 2024, it's been extremely difficult for me getting sleep. That's why I don't have a consistent schedule to uploading videos, and that's why a lot of times you'll see a brief pause in videos being made versus when they come out. That's why I try to keep y'all in the loop when I make a post. But thank you for Tokyo ASMR for the videos because it helped me go to sleep. I love their chair. I love their chair. And that was 9, and now 10 is the last channel is Kicking It with Ross. So there was a brief time that I gave up watching wrestling because I did not enjoy the product. That was after the Shield broke up in WWE, and I appreciate the rivalry between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And there was a match. I can't remember the match, but I remember it was a match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose at the time, and it was such a good match. I loved it. I remember it vividly because I remember there was like I believe there was like a pile of chairs in the ring, and Seth powerbombed Dean into the pile of chairs in the middle of the ring, and that was like one of my favorite matches. That's the one thing I remember from that match. But after that, I stopped watching WWE because WWE got boring to me. But then I will watch Kicking It with Ross, who will watch the reaction videos to wrestling, also discuss his videos and ideas. And I appreciate his ideas on certain things that happen, especially like the Vince McMahon era versus the Triple H era, or the Attitude era versus the modern era, or the PG era, and all that stuff. And Kicking It with Ross, I appreciate someone who is not afraid to call out bullshit when a company is releasing bullshit, and they expect consumers to consume that BS. And yeah, that is my top 10 favorite YouTubers. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Now, the next question is from the Hollow Knight _YT. I appreciate Hollow Knight. I actually like watching his videos as well. I also enjoy watching his videos as well with his main character because it's very good to see other people's original characters and their stories for their original characters and Videoverse 2, and it's just an amazing thing to see. But my question is, what is Delta's favorite and least favorite food? Okay. So, the first thing is, Delta doesn't really need to eat, simply because of her unique energy that constantly gets her sustained, but she does like food. But her favorite food to eat is just a turkey sandwich. Believe it or not, her favorite food to eat is a turkey sandwich, some mayonnaise, lettuce, tomatoes, a little bit of mustard, and on an Italian sub. And that is her favorite sandwich. That's her favorite food. She loves sandwiches. She probably got that from me, because I do like sandwiches too, but I'm not even saying that just to say, but that's one of her favorite things to eat is a sandwich. Her least favorite food is she doesn't like hot dogs. Now, some people might say sacrilege. What heresy is this? She don't like a good hot dog? No, she don't like hot dogs. As a matter of fact, Delta don't really like anything that is too greasy, I should say. So like she don't really like hamburgers, hot dogs, like pork chops, anything that's too greasy that you can think of, she don't really like it. But if there was no, but if you put a sandwich in front of Delta, she would like it. But if push comes to shove and there was nothing for her to make a sandwich with, she would eat a hot dog. She would eat anything that she has to eat. Like I said, she already need to eat due to her unique power. But if she wants to indulge herself and eat something, especially where she don't even like it, just to eat it, she will eat something greasy. The next question comes from Brad James again. And his question is, can Lord Jakku be redeemed? Lord Jakku is a unique individual. And I say unique is because his intentions are actually pure and genuine, but he's doing it in the wrong way. He just wants his realm to be able to sustain new life. It's like the reason, like the Tauchi are rare breeds. They're living energy mixed with different races. So like there's like Delta, she's a Tauchi Saiyan, so she's half living energy, half Saiyan. Same with Lord Jakku, he's half living energy, half Frosty. There are Tauchi Namekians, such as Lord Jakku. There are Tauchi Margins, even. Well, now there's Tauchi Margins. Before there was never such thing as Tauchi Margin, but now there are Tauchi Margins. There even could be a Tauchi Earthling. It all depends on who the Tauchi wants to make a bond and who they want to have a bond with and have a kid with. But in Lord Jakku, yes, Lord Jakku can be redeemed, but only if he is seeking to be redeemed, if you know what I mean. His alternate version, his dark alternate version from the future is way different than the Lord Jakku that we had that is here now. The one in the future was adamant on making Delta suffer. He knew the best way to make her suffer was to not only kill Neve, Zuzu, the Supreme Kai Time, and even Zion, but he knew the one thing that will break Delta was to have a kid with Delta. Because the thing about the Tauchi rule is that once a child is born between a Tauchi, they must take care of that child. There's no getting rid of it. There's no forsaking it. You have to take care of it. And that's the one thing that hurts Delta. Because no matter how much she wants to not, no matter how much Delta wants to be rid of me, she is forced to take care of her and even love her. So, future Lord Jakku can't be redeemed, but the present one can be redeemed if only he seeks it and realizes his wrongdoing. Next question is from Matt Johnson. Again, what is the future for Zuzu, Zion, Neve, and Almighty? That's an interesting question. So as I said before, Neve and Zion are actually lovers. And when it comes to Zuzu, Zuzu's future is whatever Delta is doing. Zuzu now wants to be on Delta's side and just be near Delta because she finds the most comfort being near Delta. So right now that can change in the future, but right now there's nothing for certain for Zuzu. But when it comes to Zion and Neve, let's just say when Divinity of Frost arc finally comes out, you'll get your question to that. But when it comes to Omita is for her future is to be a mentor to not only Delta, but to be a mentor to Zuzu, Dyer, and Nevin. My plan for Omita is to be a trump card of a character that she's only there for when the group needs help. They can't beat a certain enemy no more. They need a heavy hitter, and Omita is going to be that heavy hitter that they need. We got another question from Matt Johnson. What made you create Delta and how you came up with a name for her? Okay. Back before Delta made her first debut, her original name was, her concept, her prototype was Urza. And she was the name of my character on Universe 2 or the PS or my PlayStation 4. And I was saving up money for a PC so I could so I could just remake her and do a better story than using the parallel quest on console. Cause I wanted to use modded parallel quest to tell a story of what Delta is doing. And that's how she came to be, through Urza, and then I really drew Urza. Now I was going to name her Urza, even I would keep the name Urza for her, but it wasn't until I watched a show called Emerson Shadow, because even though I wanted the name Urza for her, I wanted her to have a code name. So I decided to keep the name Urza for her, but give her a code name. And one of my favorite characters in the Eminence of Shadow is Delta. I actually like her more in the manga than I do the anime, cause I know the anime does a lot of fan service for her, and I don't mind fan service, but I like how she is treated in the manga more than anime because of no spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil Delta in the manga. I'm just showing if for anyone who hasn't read it or watched it. But her code name is Delta because of the character Delta and Emerson Shadow, but her real name is Urza. So if y'all also want to know what Delta's actual real name was, it's Urza. And next we got one last question from Matt Johnson. My final question is, what anime hits you in the feels? I'm just curious. To explain this, I have to go to a short story. So back in 2010, back in 2009, I was just entering middle school, and I wanted to watch some TV shows. I wanted to watch some anime, but I couldn't find no good service. I didn't know about Crunchyroll or Hi-Dive at the time, so. And I didn't have a computer to go watch animes on the internet. Especially, I didn't have a smartphone at the time either. So when it came to watching anime, I had Optimum, and they had this service called the Anime Network. And I brought it while I was talking with my mother, and she found out about it after the bill came in, and she was super pissed. And that's when I was watching certain shows on there, and she said that she'll continue to pay for it if I get my grades up. Because at that time my grades were getting better than ever, because I was watching good TV. I was watching shows I actually wanted to watch. And then skip forward to like 2011, we had no cable. So that's when I finally got my first smartphone, and I actually got a laptop. I started watching stuff. And I found a couple of shows like Campione, High School of the Dead, To Love Ru, Motto To Love Ru. And then one show caught me. Clannad and Clannad After Story. When I watched those two shows, I cried because I was at middle school. I actually skipped grades in middle school, so I started in the 6th grade and went straight to the 8th grade, and I was already about to graduate, and that's when I was about to graduate. But that's when I found out about Clannad. I watched them, and I watched those two shows, and I cried. It hit me in the feels. But there was a recent show on Amazon that I found on Amazon, and this show also hurt me because the simple fact of the matter was it hit so close to home. I want to see if I can find it. Let me go on Amazon app real quick. Yeah, here it's called. I just recently watched it. It's called Tokyo Magnitude 8.0. This show made me cry because I don't really want to get the spoilers, but it basically goes through it basically goes through the life of two little kids, an older sister and a younger brother, and they're going through a earthquake that's happening in Tokyo. I believe it's based off a true story. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it hurt because of the little brother. Because the little brother was getting hurt. He almost got crushed by a shelf, but a lady in a mall protected him. And then he almost get crushed. Then him and his sister almost get crushed again by a bridge collapsing from trying to get on a boat. And that's when they realized, like, hey, if they waited till like the next boat, they would have been dead because the bridge collapsed and the boat that left later than theirs got sunk by the breach in the bridge. And then the third time, Tokyo Tower fell and it nearly got crushed, and the brother was on the ground and it seemed like he was dead. His sister was basically trying to wake him. She like realized her brother might be dead until he finally woke up and said, "I'm alright." And then the fourth time, I believe he collapsed because he had an asthma attack or something else, but he didn't make it this time. And she goes through thinking that he's still there with her, and she sees and hears him, but the thing is, only she sees him and hears him, and that's what towards like the final episode does she realize her brother died in the hospital. And it hurt, and that hit me in the feels because you have this brother who survived nearly getting crushed 3 times on 3 separate occasions in the span of 2 days, for him to finally succumb to, I believe, I think he died from an asthma attack. That hurt. That really hurt. On to the next question. Next question comes from Guardian Masters 181. His question is, actually I'm gonna say their question, because I don't know if some of these people are men or women. So I'm sorry if there was any women commenting these questions. I kept saying his answer. I'm gonna say this. I'm very sorry. But their question is, besides Delta, which character you like and which one you dislike? My favorite character besides Delta is Almighty. I love Almighty because she's a strong queen who wants the best for her children. Well, her child, because Delta's the only child. But she wants the best for Delta, and even if that meant sacrificing everything to make sure Delta lives. Like she's Almita was the reason why the Tachi realm was also destroyed, because in a civil war between the rest of the Saiyans and the Tauchi, they wanted to find a baby who had a complete compatibility with Tauchi energy, and Delta was that child. And they wanted to take Delta, but Almita said, nope, I'm gonna make sure my child lives the lifestyle she wants to live. And because that the rest of the Tauchi didn't get their hands on Delta, the realm went to chaos, and eventually life couldn't be sustained in that realm. Now, when it comes to characters that I dislike, I don't like me. I don't like her. I don't like me because of a simple fact of the matter is the disrespect that she holds for Delta. She loves her mother, but she disrespects her because of the simple fact that she knows her mother could have defeated Jacob, but didn't know how she could defeat him. And it's not until like me is watching Delta currently from a different dimension, because she does not want to interact with President Delta, but she's watching President Delta, and she's even more pissed off that President Delta has powers that future Delta doesn't even have, and just wonder how does Delta even have powers that her future version came to access. And she hates President Delta. She believes President Delta is just an inferior copy of her future self, which is weird because you need President version to you need your present version to be able to be in the future. But me doesn't really like President Delta, and she wishes that she would hurry up and kill Jacob even faster, so her existence can mean nothing because she just hates him. I can't go into more without spoiling future stuff that's going to happen in the story, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And we got one last question, and this is from Saiyan Bardock U2G, and their question is, here my question, okay, before I go on, I believe that they said that they're not very good with English, so if it sounds weird, don't make fun of them, please. I'm also trying to figure out the question at hand, so I'm gonna read it slowly. Here my question: what Delta's favorite color? My OC character Saiyan Venya is midnight blue and black. Interesting. Delta's favorite color is for Delta's favorite color, she likes pink, which is why her Limit Breaker form in Super Saiyan 5 is also pink. She chose that color because she wanted a color that can also represent all of her form's power. The reason why her hair and her Limit Breaker form, you can see hints of blue, yellow, red, even green inside there. And that's her favorite color, it's pink. Now, so far those are all the questions I have from viewers. But if y'all have any more questions, feel free to leave them in this video or any post I make up until the last Friday of the month. And I'll do my best to answer them in the best way I can. Like I said, you can ask me any question as long as it is not about like current events or politics or my view on real world things, because in this channel we are keeping things about games. you got a question about Delta, you got a question about any other character, or what's my favorite games, or what's my favorite food, or what's their favorite food, or what they like to do in their free time when they're not fighting, you can ask and I will answer to the best of my ability. This is Kalon Gamer Hub signing off. Catch you later. Have a nice day. Stay healthy. Drink water. And I'll see y'all next time.